So which member of your Spurs will be leading the team in scoring next season?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, this is Chris Sabat, and you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs, right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope everybody's having a great work week. We'll get you through it right here on Locked On Spurs. And as always, you can find us on the Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. The list goes on and on. We are ever part of the Locked On Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel, and it is the official sports book of Locked On. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Hey, what are we talking about today? Well, we're going to be looking at two candidates who could possibly be leading this team in scoring next season. We'll see what our guest has to say about that, and then I'll chime in as well. And also, what about that leaked alt court that got out there already on the internet? And what are we feeling about that as the new season approaches? Just real quick disclaimer, no, it is not the replica of the old Hemisphere Arena. Get that out of your mind right now. It's not. I see a bunch of kids out there saying, oh, it's the Hemisphere Arena all over again. Nope. Not at all. Trust me, our guests will talk about that as well. But hey, speaking of the new season, are you excited yet? I know I am. It's right around the corner. Media Day is next week already. Training camp opens up next week. Preseason will be here, and before you know it, the Spurs are off and running. But as this team continues to go forward in their rebuild, it's good to know that this team, as of right now, has viable weapons on both ends of the court. And this team maybe was likely going to be a sleeper team, perhaps, in the NBA, at least in the Western Conference. Defensively, we know Wemby is going to up that stat across the board for the team. His wingspan, his ability to alter shots, his blocking, his rebounding, just his presence in the paint alone is going to up the Spurs defense. And what about the offensive side? The Spurs also have firepower as well, from Keldon Johnson to Devin Vassell. Yes, Jeremy Sohan and Wemby, of course, and so many other players. This team might be a little more balanced than we saw last season. Remember last season, how the defensive was just atrocious? I expect that to change next season once the ball goes up in the air and the regular season begins. This should make you more excited. Yes, Wemby is the focus right now. He's touring San Antonio. Spurs fans are loving it. He's wearing that cowboy hat as he goes across his new city, his new home. But let's not forget, collectively, this team could be something to watch. Could be a very fun team to watch on both ends of the court. Defensively, we didn't talk about Trey Jones. We didn't even talk about, other viable defensive players. Reggie Bullock, forget about him. Offensively, too, they also have some balance there. So I'm excited to see what this team is going to look like post All-Star break. I think that's where we'll see them really come together and be a team that could possibly be knocking on the play-in tournament door. If they do that, I think that'll be a huge success for this team. But the season is right around the corner. But let's just get you ready right now. We're going to be discussing which players could possibly be leading this team in scoring next season. Let's go bring our guest. He is Joe Garcia of Two Shots Podcast. There he is. Let's just put it this way, everybody. Joe is working late, but made some time to come on Locked On Spurs. As always, Joe, we thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I just got out of work, clocked out, and Jeff's like, you up? And say, all right, coach.
You're up. You're up at bat. Yep. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Two Shots Podcast, or the X, I should say. And he is obviously the host of the Two Shots Podcast, as well as the Alamo City Sports Podcast. It's on YouTube. It's not a podcast, it's a video show. It's really good. He's going to talk about that more. I think I'll be the next guest tomorrow, Joe. So I'll be popping on with you. But I'm excited to talk about your silver and black. Everybody, let's go ahead and get into it right now. But Joe, can we just get out of your system real fast? I know you want to do the money thing. Just get it out of your way. Go ahead, because I know you're going to bring it up sometime during the show.
Gotta drop the money.
There it is. Get it out of your system, Joe.
Here we go. Money talk.
There you go. Gotta drop the money. Drop it.
Get it out of your system, Joe. There he goes.
We got to
Hey,
do
little
that.
birdie.
That's for
Little
you,
birdie
man.
told me that that Muslinkers is going to be dropping a new drink in that theme soon.
Well, I hope so, man. I hope they name it the Money Bags in honor of the one Jeff Garcia, El Jefe.
No,
Or maybe they don't even call it the Money Bag; just call it El Jefe.
that's actually not a bad idea. I like that. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, jefe means boss. So, yeah, I think that I would approve it. I will approve it right now if it goes that route. But hey, Joe, now that you got that out of your system, because I know you're going to bring it up sometime during the show, let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty now. Joe, this team offensively does have candidates that could, viably lead this team in scoring. Wouldn't be surprised if it's Wemby. Wouldn't be surprised if it's KJ. Wouldn't be surprised if it's Devin. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe not, but if Sohan is up there in scoring, maybe not the best scorer on the team, but this team does have some offensive players. But if you can look into your crystal ball right now, Joe, who is your pick to lead this team in scoring next season?
Well, if I got to pick somebody right off the bat, one person really stands out at me, and that would be one Devin Vassell. I mean, You go ahead and look at what he was able to do over his career, especially going back into last season. He was averaging, pretty good numbers here before he got injured. As it stands right now, he's averaging 18.5 points a game,
right?
3.9 rebounds, 3.6 assists. That was in the 2022-2023 season before, again, he got injured. So if I have to say if he's going to be healthy this season and Wemby's going to garner a lot of attention, I think Devin Vassell's going to feast on those opportunities. And you all better watch out because he might be the highest scoring player on the San Antonio Spurs team this season.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past that to happen. You look at him just as a player. We don't know what Wemby's going to turn out to be right now, but let's just say for arguments for this episode of Locked On Spurs, wouldn't be surprised if the Devin is the best two-way player on the court, defensively and offensively. But offensively, he definitely has the tools. He can get to the rim. We've seen him throw down some vicious dunks. He can draw fouls. He can score, obviously. He can knock down the three. He can knock down the mid-range shot. He can get to the free throw line. He has an array of moves and a lot of facets to his offensive game that I think is going to bode well for the Spurs. And you're right. I think you hit it on the head. With Wemby just in uniform on the court, that distraction alone will create a lot of space for Devin to operate, whether it be to cut to the rim, have wide open looks at the rim for open shots. But, Joe, is there any area of his offensive game that you would like to see him improve upon next season?
I mean, if there's anything, a player can go ahead and improve in any facet of their game. But, one of the things that I'd like to see a little bit more out of Devin is just Devin being able to knock down those threes. Maybe he can go ahead and get a quicker release. He has a beautiful release, by the way. Every time he shoots it, he just in all of that rotation that he gets in that arc, but I just think if he can go ahead and get his rotations, in rhythm there, and he can go ahead and get his shot off a lot faster, it would be more conducive to him maybe hitting a higher percentage of threes, So I'd like to see him work on the three-pointer a little bit more. He's not bad right now. It's 38.7, percent from beyond the arc. But man, if he can go ahead and really knock those down at a healthy clip, he's just going to help this team get a lot better.
Yeah, last season he shot 38% from the field, but career-wise, after 3 years in the NBA, he's at 36%, give him 37%. Yeah. So it's not too far off. Yeah, I think this whole team can get better from the three line, and I think they will. But for me, though, to really what's going to expand his game offensively is be more accurate at that free throw line. Joe, he shot a career low last season. Now, granted, it was injury mired. He was out for a long time. Played about 38 games last year. 78% from the free throw line. Now, for his career, it's respectable, 81% from the free throw line, but I'd love to see that increase. I think if he adds that, he could definitely pump up his offensive numbers and be the leading scorer on this team. Joe, do you think of all the players that Wemby could impact just as president alone, you think it'll be Vassell that'll probably be benefiting the most because of his abilities on the court?
I think it would be Vassell. Not only is he a really good, prolific two-way player, especially on defense, he's also a good scorer. You couple that with, like I said, the attention that Wemby's going to wind up getting, and I think Devin Vassell's going to be able to feast. I, would even dare say we might see some really good give and go action, maybe some pick and roll action between him and Wemby. He could probably even get free to, get some really sneaky backdoor cuts, kind of like Dougie McBuckets does, because everybody's going to be, focused on Wemby. I think Devin's going to have a great season, but I think where he's going to really excel this season, I think his defensive play is going to take a notch up in the right direction, and I think it's going to surprise a lot of Spurs players because they're like, hey, Jeremy Sohan's the best defensive player on this team. I was like, well, don't look past Devin Vassell. He can be the second best defensive player that we have on this team. And that means that the team's just going to get better because they can be able to hold teams when it comes to that half court defense, where notoriously the Spurs have had trouble in the past, especially trying to score in the offense in the half court sets. I think Devin and, being the, really good two-way player that he can actually be when he's healthy, I think we're going to see something special here. Not only is Wemby going to be able to help the team open up and give opportunities to other team players on the team, I think Vassell's going to do the same thing. He can open up his game, and if he gets a lot of attention, then what does that mean? You have Jeremy Sohan, he's ready to go ahead and feast. You have Zach, Collins there, ready to feast in the paint. I mean, that's great, man. I'm excited about this team. Can you imagine, Jeff, opening day? I mean, what's that going to be like, dude? I'm excited. I got goosebumps already.
It's going to be pandemonium. Hey, when we get back, I'm going to give you my candidate who might lead the Spurs in scoring next season. Joe picked Devin. Who am I going to pick? We'll find out when we get back right here on Locked On Spurs. But before we do all that, I want to talk to you about FanDuel. Hey, you got to go check out FanDuel right now. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. So simple. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So if you're thinking about joining FanDuel, look, there's no better time to get on the action than right now. The app is very easy to use, a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over and unders, and so much more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon right now and kick off the NFL season. Hey, how about your Cowboys? San Antonio's full of Cowboys fans. Are you feeling good after 3 games, 2-1? Think you want to play some more bets? Well, go over there right now to FanDuel and bet on your silver and blue right now. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
Hi, this is Nathan Ray Clark from Criminal Minds and Modern Family. And you lucky SOB, you're listening to the best Spurs podcast out there. Locked On Spurs with your boy, Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with that guy, the big man from Two Shots Podcast. He is Joe Garcia. We are talking all things Spurs. And today, who could possibly be leading the Spurs in scoring next season? Now, Joe, he picked Devin Vassell. Here's my pick. I'm going to go with the big man himself, Victor Wembanyama. Look, there's going to be a lot of attention on the kid. And look, I get it. He hasn't played a single second in an NBA regular season game. But we talked about in that first segment, Joe, the attention that he's going to draw is going to be incredible. And I think if he gets aggressive enough and they're training him right in these little mini camps we're having, and of course when the training camp officially opens, I think he's going to have to get aggressive going to that rim. I think he's going to feast on just getting to the free throw line. He's going to get hacked. He's going to get pushed around. A lot of attention is going to get to him. And look, I know he's a rookie. He's probably going to get the rookie treatment, but I think you're probably going to see Hacko Wemby. I think if you see that, that's going to be interesting to see how he plays into that. So if they go to the Hacko Wemby, I definitely can see him just pumping up his scoring. Now, he can knock down the free throws. He has an open shot. We know he can put the ball on the floor. He can dribble. He can get to the rim. I think he's going to feast off second chance opportunities, putbacks, dunks. I'm not going to be surprised if we see the rookie leading this Spurs team in scoring next season. He's going to command just so much attention. He is. And you're probably going to see teams just, really bully him and maybe draw those silly fouls. Joe, I think he has what it takes to make the case to be the leading scorer for this team. So I'm going with Wemby. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, that's the easy way out, in my opinion, going with Wemby. But again, you really don't know what's going to happen this season. He could be the highest scoring player on the San Antonio Spurs team. But again, he couldn't be. He could go ahead and go through a stretch there where teams start to really double, triple team, quadruple team him. Because, he is the alien, man. He's an enigma. Yeah. How are you going to go ahead and contend with that length, that he has? You can go ahead and get speed, but I mean, you can't make up for that length that he has. He's going to be a problem nonetheless. So yeah, it's a safe choice.
And I think they're going to really feast on him running that pick and roll, him and Trey Jones, or him and whoever. Pick up Keldon Johnson, sure. Malachi, sure. And I think he's going to get to the rim easier in that fashion as well. And look, it's not just Wemby opposing defense I have to worry about. Keldon Johnson established himself as a viable scoring threat. Same thing with Devin Vassell, even Sohan. And I think that is going to create opportunities for Wemby as well. So I think all in all, I got the rookie leading this team in scoring next year, just because how much is going to be revolving around him. And if he can develop a hook shot, Joe, a la Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, forget about it. He's going to be feasting all day, Joe. Your thoughts?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, as long as who's going to stop the rain when it's about to fall?
He's 7'5" in shoes. 7'5" in shoes.
You can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain when it's raining. How are you going to stop that fadeaway jumper if he has one in his arsenal? Yeah. There's nothing anybody can do but just sit there or stand there with their hands in the air. You can't stop it, And I think once he gets really good at doing that, I mean, that's going to be his go-to move. Can you imagine somebody 7'5" shooting a fadeaway like Dirk Nowitzki off of one leg? Man,
and he has that ability. We've seen it, and when he played with the Mets 92, he can do that.
Yeah, I said once he does that consistently, it's over, man. You can't stop him.
Look, he's going to get trained, or he's going to work out with likely Tim Duncan. I think that's going to work well to benefit the offensive side of things if Timmy focuses on with him. There's also just being that gravity, like sucking in defenses and then pushing them out as well. As far as creating space for him to operate. And here's the thing too, Joe. We saw in France with the Mets 92, he can score in flurries. So he'll be quiet for a while, but then just have this barrage of scoring and then kick it back into high gear again. Now, I would like him to be consistent, though, in the NBA. None of these pauses, ups and downs offensively. But I think he could do it. I have Wemby leading this Spurs team in scoring. And if he does that, Joe, forget it. I think it's this whole rap about Chet Holmgren leading the MVP, possibly getting the Rookie of the Year award. I think if Wemby pulls this off, I mean, he has to be the lock for the Rookie of the Year. Your thoughts?
Oh, man. Spurs fans always want him to be the Rookie of the Year. Mm-hmm. Even when he was picked number one, the Spurs got him officially.
Yeah. The moment they drafted him, is give him the Roy. Give him the Roy right now.
Exactly, man. Some of the other haters, like I like to call them, already hating on San Antonio. Not even Houston Rockets fans, by the way, which they hate us the most. But just listening to some of the other ex-NBA players give their takes and say, oh, they don't think Wemby's going to be able to be that special. He's not going to be that good. And they're picking other players. They're sleeping on him. And I think subconsciously they want him not to win just because they know he's going to be that good. And they're jealous. But it's okay. Be jealous. But you know what? When he goes ahead and wins that Rookie of the Year, you make sure you give him his flowers too.
Oh, they'll find excuses not to, Joe.
I no doubt. You have to be a heel. If you're a heel, you wind up getting more clicks, more likes, more attention. And that's why they do it, just to entertain people.
Just to entertain, yeah. So, again, nobody should be surprised if it's Wemby leading the Spurs team in scoring at all next season, just simply because of who he is. He has an array of offensive moves. He has an array of abilities to tap into the fadeaway, the three-point shot, the mid-range, going to the bucket, cleaning up mess, putbacks, free throws. I think he can do it, Joe. I got Wemby as the team leading scorer next season. Hey, when we get back, we're going to talk about that leaked Spurs alternate court. Did you see it? Yeah, it's out there right now in the social media world. But we're going to talk about that. What did we react to it? Let's just say the person who leaked it pretty much made it out there that the Spurs did not like that. So it's all but confirmed due to their actions. So we're going to talk about that alternate court when we get back right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. You guys are the everydayers. And tomorrow's show, we're talking about more of your silver and black. But we also got to talk about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Joe, I heard a rumor that a new drink could be coming in honor of somebody that we don't know about. Something about money. I don't know what it is, Joe.
Maybe.
So here it comes. You see, Joe cannot resist. You want to go to Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee right now, located at 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. If you're in San Antonio, that's the Stone Oak area, 281-1604. Go there right now. Joe, that menu is just insane, huh? From the Sub-Zero drink made in honor of UTSA's Frank Harris to the Alien. That's a green apple. That's kiwi. That's a full can of Red Bull in honor of Victor Wembanyama. Joe, they got it all, don't they?
They got everything, man. But I got a new one for them too, because it looks like this grito that we just did earlier on the show today. It hit big with the fan base. So maybe they should do one in honor of the show that we do and that fan favorite part now, the grito. I wonder what that would taste like.
Oh, well, you know what? Tom over there at Mudslingers, he's always listening for new ideas from the fan base. And what's good about him and Mudslingers is that they put into action. They are very fan interactive. They'll chat with you all day on social media, on the X, at Mudslinger SATX. Find them everywhere. They're also on TikTok, Threads, as mentioned, the X. Pick a platform. Find them. Facebook. They're there too, at Mudslinger SATX. Look, they're open every day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Great coffee. They have the Mudslinger, which is their original drink. That is espresso, some caramel. It just tastes really good. It really introduces you to the coffee world. They got dairy alternatives. They got the Red Bull infused lightning bolt if you need to get a jolt to start your day or keep you going throughout your day. They also have so many other types of things you can get on the menu, like the mini donuts. That's Joe's favorite, huh?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, who doesn't like a little bit of sweets, man?
You know, the mini donuts are, and I think people forget about that Mudslingers. So they have that food option, that donut option.
Hey, but I like to put a little bourbon in my little.
Here we go, Joe. No, Joe. Okay, Mudslingers, they don't put alcohol in your drink. I'm gonna make that very clear.
I do.
But Joe does. Joe does that. He does a little extra something to the drinks, but they don't serve alcohol at Mudslingers, so not at all.
It's BYOB, man. BYOB.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, check it out. They have a great menu, so many drink options there. You will not go wrong with any drink you pick there, including the OG OJ. That is the Orange Julius, recreated only at Mudslingers. So if you want to pull on those 70s, 80s nostalgia vibes once again and drink the old school Orange Julius, well, it's recreated at Mudslingers, the OG OJ. You want to go to Mudslingers right now, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. Over 300 5-star reviews. Cannot be wrong. Mudslingers, go there right now. Life is too short for a bland coffee. All right, Joe, let's go to wrap up this episode of Locked On Spurs and talk about that elite Spurs alternate court. Now, for those you don't know, the Spurs all but retired the Fiesta theme, at least for next season. So there will be no more Fiesta. At least as of right now. We don't know. They could pull a fast one on us. But as of right now, no City Edition Fiesta jersey. But although that didn't get leaked, but the alternate court did. Now, Joe, I believe who leaked that? I think that who put it out there? I think it was
Mark Burnett, super fan Mark Burnett.
Yeah. He put it out there. And if you thought that it was maybe fake, well, think again, because Mark Burnett shared the interaction that the Spurs had with him, and let's put it that way, they didn't like it. So they all but confirmed it, Joe, just the reaction alone. So yeah, for those of y'all who haven't seen it, it's an homage towards the San Antonio 1968 Hemisphere Fair. It was the World's Fair in San Antonio. So there's a lot of browns, a lot of deep, or like little reds. They have like the Tower of the Americas. That'll be the center court. It's like surrounded by a sun. And they have like, they kind of have a Fiesta color, that teal on the baselines. But you'll see the Frost Bank Center logo is now on the court. Joe, a lot of mixed reviews. Some fans, well, maybe it's not mixed. I think a lot of fans didn't like it, huh?
A lot of fans didn't like it because it's not made for them. It's made from a bygone era. You know, I mean, this was doing this was before our time too, Jeff. I mean, man, you're going back to 1968. It is part of San Antonio history, which is part of the Hemisphere World's Fair. That's why we have Hemisphere Park, right smack where it's at, near the Alamo Dome, and you had the tower built at that time. You had a lot of nice stuff that was built when they built that.
Hemisphere Arena itself.
Yeah.
That's what.
But you had like a monorail. You had the Sky Rail. You had a lot of things that were kind of ahead of its time, so to speak. But again, it's from a bygone area, and I get that the Spurs want to kind of bring a little bit of history back in to the city themed edition jerseys, along with the court. But I mean, this is more of a Western theme, so it's a
very southwestern Arizona colors.
Yeah, hodgepodge of different types of colors, stuff that was kind of in during the 60s. The font is of a bygone era from the 60s. It's very Arizona-esque, and I think that's what fans have an issue with, because they're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah,
we know nothing about it unless you go back in the history books and you're looking for pictures online or something like that.
Or like us, Joe. I mean, sure, we were not born when the Hemisphere World's Fair was around, but we were still young enough to remember the remnants of it. The sky rides, they were still around after the World's Fair was over. The monorail, San Antonio, as you heard from Joe right now, there used to be a monorail across Hemisphere Park. Yeah. They were still, like, the pillars used to still stand there. You could still see them before they tore them down. So, and that was really well into the 70s. I think in like late 70s when they destroyed them or removed them. And of course, Hemisphere Arena. Now, as I said earlier, Joe, a lot of fans think that's a replica of the Hemisphere Arena. It's not. It's completely different, isn't it?
It's a completely different court.
Yeah.
And you mean, if you look at the Hemisphere, the one thing that you noticed right away when it was Hemisphere was that light, like a teal color court. It was very unique. It was a unique experience watching a game in Hemisphere Arena, because you had to contend, like we said, not only with the obstructed views when you got this huge pillar in your way, but you're also sitting up there with the pigeons, man. Yeah. And it was so bad sometimes, these obstructed views, that they actually had TVs mounted on the back of those pillars, because that's the only way that you were going to watch the game.
And even to go back further, the Hemisphere Arena, before they even went to that teal look, Joe, remember, it was red and white and black. Remember, the baselines was red, and the basketball court itself, like, instead of like the solid, like cylindrical thing, it was like a cage, and it would come out like that. So even before the Spurs were kind of already flirting with the Fiesta colors, yes, the Spurs court used to have a splash of red on it and black and white.
And I think be raised at the time, way back in the ABA days. The court was raised, and you would sit in bleachers, and people were just smoking and drinking there.
Oh yeah,
it was a free for all. It was a party.
It was a free for all. Yeah, and the baseline bum sat on the baseline.
Yeah,
they literally sat on the baseline. But I saw the photo that was leaked. I gotta see it. Maybe it's better in person. I'm on hold judgment.
I don't know.
But from the look of it, I can tell already that the uniforms are likely going to match that kind of color scheme, right, Joe?
Yeah, they're going to have probably going to be going with that Western style of theme.
I think so. Yeah.
There's been some renderings that have made it out, on social media and whatnot. We don't really know for sure what's going to happen. Usually, the Spurs are the last team to finally officially say, this is what's going to happen. It's the worst kept secret. And that kind of upsets me a little bit. It's like, instead of waiting for fans to leak this stuff out, shouldn't you all do a better job of just go ahead and start teasing things way ahead of time?
Or just roll with it. All right, so the court got leaked out. Big whoop.
That's their fault. They could have done it. They could
just embrace it. But all in all, look, I think it's some still mixed reviews, leaning towards not liking it from the fan base. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's all but confirmed just based on the reaction.
You know what? Bring back the Alamo Dome court. Man, that court was fire.
That would have been a winner right there. Bring that court. Yes.
You had the black on the little black accents on the side. Alamo Dome. You had the skyline there. You had the little teal. That's when you had the Fiesta colored.
That's 90s warm-ups, right there.
You had
90s vibes.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Bring that back.
And also, too, another reason why that court is more than likely confirmed to be the alternate court is because the Spurs did visit the Tower of the Americas, and the Spurs did share that video, photographs of it.
I'm surprised no one got stuck in the elevator.
Well, maybe perhaps they were doing some sort of promo for the tower in Hemisphere 68. So I think that's probably what it's going to be. Look, the Spurs haven't said anything about it other than the reaction that Mark shared on social media. But there's no official release. There's no official newsletter. Nothing like that has come out as of yet. But Yeah, I think right now, Joe, I think Spurs fans are saying this right now, right? Nope.
Well,
Bad.
some of them are, a majority of them are, but the thing
Mhm.
is too is that they go ahead. I went ahead and released some new era gear that's coming out, and it's
Mhm.
going along with that 1968 theme.
So it does match up that color scheme,
It
right?
does match up. They
Okay.
had some jersey. They had a jersey jacket. They had a hoodie that was kind of with those Western themed colors. They weren't Spurs like colors. It's more of a maroon, a dark
Okay.
navy blue, a very mustard yellow color. Put it
Right.
all together with the Spurs logo that was surrounded with like a fuchsia, not even a magenta color. Really awkward color scheme there. And then they had some hats that they released that are very light pastel colors that go along with the same court theming, and coloration and stuff, the colorways. But again, it's a mixed bag. Some fans like the direction, others don't. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm sure the merch is going to sell either way.
Oh, it'll sell. Trust me. Anything silver and black, or in this case, our southwestern colors,
Pastel.
is pastel that's going to sell. But hey, we're done talking. We want to hear from you. Who do you think will lead this team in scoring? Is it Devin, like Joe mentioned? Is it Wemby? Is it somebody else? We're not even thinking about, like Mamu. Yay, Mamu! No, just kidding. And also, what do you think about the elite alternate court that is already out there? I mean, you haven't seen it; it's not going to be hard to find. Just go on social media. Do you like it? Dislike it? Are you going to maybe give it a shot once the regular season starts? You can let me know on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs. You see it on your screen right now. Let Joe know what your thoughts are at Two Shots Podcast. And Joe, tell us what you got going on Two Shots and on YouTube with Alamo City.
Yeah, with Two Shots, we're going to be recording an episode. In fact, I got to get with some people right now, late at night, to go ahead and see if they're going to be available for tomorrow to record. So look for that either dropping tomorrow or on Wednesday. I know that our boy Brandon Medina is going to be releasing an episode of the Fantasy Gods Extra Point,
nice.
so that'll probably be going live.
He was yesterday's guest on Locked On Spurs.
Yeah, he was. I made a quick, brief appearance because he was in the studio.
That's right. Yeah. Joe was like the voice from above in that episode.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. He's going to be releasing 2 episodes. He's going to go for Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to air that in the same time slot that we have the Alamo City Sportscast, because we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it means we have Tuesday and Thursday to offer you something new. One of those shows might be Two Shots Podcast dropping. The other one's going to be Fantasy Gods Extra Point. So make sure you look out for that. And Jimenez, he was sick today. Conveniently sick after the Saints lost. They blew a 17-point lead. He was, I don't feel good. I'm like, okay.
Oh, man.
So let's see if it comes on Friday.
Suck it up. You have to do audio. Fine. Just suck it up, though, Jimenez. But Joe's show is fun. I believe I'll be the guest tomorrow.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, I'll be the guest. I'll make it an appearance. And of course, Joe has it all. Follow him on Twitter at Two Shots Podcast. And we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts. Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. The list goes on and on. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We'll be back tomorrow talking more about the silver and black, and perhaps maybe Jimenez might be joining tomorrow.
Oh,
well, no. We'll find out. We'll see if he sticks to. We'll see if he sticks to his commitment, but he'll likely be on next episode of Locked On Spurs. But for Joe Garcia, I am Jeff Garcia. We're gonna put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.